Hey friends. So the last 2 days, I've been here in Chicago. You can't tell it's Chicago because it's just a blank wall behind me with a picture on it. But I'm in Chicago, which is not where I live. If you're just tuning into my post for the first time, I live in Albuquerque, New Mexico. But I'm in Chicago for a couple days. And last night, we went to, it's called the Chicago Jazz Philharmonic. It's a jazz orchestra run by a trumpeter named Orbert Davis. Spectacular show. It's a show called Soul Migration. Just super cool. The music was awesome. And there was a text written by this guy, John Fountain. Really kind of remarkable all-around performance. Just super, super fun. And as a jazz musician myself, you know, it really sort of sparked something. I don't watch a lot of jazz anymore, especially live jazz. I don't hear a lot of it. It's not that it's not available where I live, but it's a different, coming to Chicago, which is where I grew up and studied jazz, and which also happens to be one of the jazz like crucibles of all time. You know, the music really evolved here. It was just really powerful to be around it, to kind of dive back into that. And then tonight, at sort of the other end of the spectrum, although not really, just a different part of the spectrum, we went to see the Chicago Symphony, and the piano soloist was a guy named Conrad Tao, who studied with the same piano teacher as I did when I was younger. He was a lot younger. I saw him as a 6-year-old kid, and he was a phenom. He was a prodigy, just out and out, one of the most talented musicians I had ever come across. And he played with the Chicago Symphony tonight. Blew everybody away. Just super incredible performance of Gershwin's Concerto in F. And then his encore was a transcription, funny enough, of an Art Tatum rendition of Over the Rainbow. So it was again kind of like this jazz vibe percolating into the space. And those are, and so I think what really struck me about, because, in some ways the two concerts happen so close together that it all feels like just a world that I'm being plunged into, but on this very short trip to Chicago. And what I was reminded of today as I was sitting in Symphony Center, there's a lot happening in the world. There are difficult issues facing the world. There are difficult issues facing our country. But when you go to the symphony, or when you go to a jazz performance like the one last night, you see human beings cooperating and manifesting their potential, manifesting their human gifts in the highest possible way. Music is just one of the highest expressions of human capacity. It's such a gift. And I'm not just talking about the soloist tonight, I'm talking about the entire orchestra. It was just so cool. And something about it, you know, there are symphonies there out in where I live, but they're not at the level of the Chicago Symphony. They're very, you know, this is a world-class orchestra. They're probably in the top 10 orchestras worldwide. I don't know, but they're up there. And so there's just something that comes through in the music, and that comes through in the space when you're in the room with a group of people like that. And something about the remarkable amount of energy and intention and discipline, practice, endurance, inspiration, just the level of human evolution that shows up through an orchestra in a performance like that. It's just amazing. It makes it seem like it might be possible to not have wars anymore. That's kind of where I went today, was like, human beings can do this. Not only can we individually rise to these incredible heights of personal skill and just remarkable levels of technical and spiritual proficiency, but we can put 50 or 60 of them in a room together and they can be in perfect collaboration. And I know the work that goes into that. You know, I know the level of commitment that each individual has to bring. But it somehow gives me hope, because it makes me think that music is a way of leading people to the place in themselves where that potential becomes visible, becomes available again, when it's become obscured. A performance like tonight or last night brings people back to the place where you recognize, I have this potential in me. And then we have less of an incentive to fight. We have less of an incentive to be in resistance to the world. It may be the case that there's a level of discipline we need to rise to, a level of challenge that we need to meet. But even that is a beautiful thing. You know, the fact that that's possible, that appears possible to us, is such a gift. The fact that we see human potential manifested in such a remarkable way, and then, you know, the music itself is this celebration of all that. It just gave me hope, and it reminded me of my own connection to music. Why that commitment feels so deep and why it's so central in my life. Why I think I've made my life about it in so many ways. So that's where I'm at today, folks. 2 remarkable shows in basically 24 hours. And music has given me hope. So thanks for watching. Appreciate you. Have a great day. I'll see you soon.